Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. We continue to follow the Browns battle and where the new stadium will be in all of this. Last night, the Brook Park City Council held their monthly city council meeting, and some new information was revealed. And this is what we're doing here at Cleveland 19. We're so committed to keeping our eye on what is one of the largest continuing stories throughout Northeast Ohio, that when we get new information, when we see new details released about this project, we're going to make sure we bring them to you. Last night's meeting did reveal a couple of interesting nuggets, including the fact that executives from Ford came down from Detroit and have actually met with the Browns on this project. You might ask, why is that? Well, we can answer that just by simply looking at the map. We're going to show you where the Browns Dome project would be. Of course, you're looking at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport there, that big patch of concrete in the middle of your screen. The Browns project would actually go on these vacant lots here. These used to be the Ford Foundry and Ford Plant Number 2. The reason that Ford met with the Browns is because there is still Ford Plant Number 1. That is this massive building here right on the corner of Engle and Brook Park. That building is staying, and of course they would be neighbors with what is this proposed Browns Dome. So not that unheard of, but it is interesting to note that executives from Ford, so tied into this project, or at least so curious about the project, have actually traveled here to Cleveland to meet with the Cleveland Browns on this project. Of course, by now we've all seen what the Browns have pitched and are hopeful for. A $3 billion mixed-use project that centers around this dome of a football stadium that could be used for many other items, but then also those buildings you see on either side, some mixed use, whether it's business, retail, residential, for that area. Of course, the big maybe holdup in all of this is how will all or any of this be paid for? That seems to be the sticking point, along with the city of Cleveland trying to dig in its heels to keep the Browns somewhere within Cleveland proper. With that in mind, this is just a 3-minute video, 3-minute clips from last night's Brook Park City Council meeting. Again, just last 3 minutes, but you'll hear from Brook Park Mayor himself giving the City Council his updates on where this project stands, including talk of how much revenue could be created, and a meeting that is scheduled with the Browns for this Friday. Take a listen.
Browns update every week. I'm going to try to give everybody all that's going on. Right now, this Friday, we have a meeting with our council, Bricker Graydon, and the Cleveland Browns in Berea. The discussion will be the zoning changes that will be happening over at former Ford Plant Number 2. Also, we're going to be talking about operations costs, revenue, and the backstop for this program as well, too, because that's going to be the key component, that we have to have a backstop in case there is a pandemic, a strike in the NFL, and we're not meeting the numbers that we're obligated to on the bonds that we are issued. So those will be the topics this Friday. We've been having good discussions with our state representative, Chris Glassburn, who's new to office just for 2 months. He's been doing a fantastic job. He's been working across the aisle with all members of the House and doing everything he can for this district and for the Cleveland Browns to build that destination here. So that's our latest update on the Browns.
Any questions to the mayor? Councilman Troyer.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Mayor, getting back to the Browns, I think it was last month, it might have been the 4th, at one of the meetings, you said you were going to be meeting with Ford.
Yes.
And it came up because there were I got rumors of different things that Ford was, whatever.
Yes.
So can you clarify any of that?
Forgive me for not giving an update on our other meetings that we've had. So we've had really good meetings with the Cleveland Browns, with business owners throughout Brook Park. We've had 3 meetings thus far, just because the groups are so large. one of the 3 meetings was just the Ford executives alone. So they came down from Michigan and met over in Berea with the Browns, and very positive. They were excited to hear about the project. They liked the fact that they have potential new neighbors that will be the Cleveland Browns, and they even have talked about how they're going to start, if the Browns do come here, they're going to invest into advertisement on the roof. They're going to be putting a huge sign for Ford up there. They're going to be redoing landscaping with trees, and they want to blend right into the boulevard that Angle will turn into.
Okay, so they believe, and you believe they can coexist?
Absolutely.
That's not a problem, okay, and they're on board? Beautiful. That's one big concern, and with all the I've actually been told by somebody sitting up here that the Haslam's had an option to buy that Ford plant number 1 already.
Yeah,
So-
that is not true whatsoever.
And that's what we deal with here. You're constantly getting, that's why I like everything out here and in writing,
Right.
So, thank you.
So what I take out of that meeting from last night, especially when it comes to the discussion around Ford, is, first of all, it clarifies, and I want to go back to this map just so everybody understands why Ford is playing such a role in this, or at least is a component in all of this. We'll get our map here back in a second. Here we go. There is Cleveland Hopkins, and I want to show you the Brown Stadium project is for these. We'll get our map back here in a second, just doesn't want to cooperate. These vacant lots right here are where the stadium is proposed, the Browns Dome. Now, just to the north of the proposal of where that is you have Ford plant number 1, and they are still operational. A lot of people think because plant number 2 is down and gone and that the foundry is gone, that nothing is happening at that facility. That's simply not the case. I'm going to refresh this, see if we can get our map back. No, we're having a little bit of a problem there. But the fact that Ford has met with the Browns in Berea, they sent executives down from Detroit. That's big news. That's saying that Ford is interested, that they're about to get this massive dome as a neighbor next to Ford Plant 1. It sounds like they have committed to maybe cleaning up that area. If you've ever been around that area, Angle Road and Ford Plant 1, it is an industrial area. There is nothing to look at. But if this project were to come into fruition, Ford has agreed to and admitted that they would want to clean up that area, make an investment, perhaps in some trees to make Angle really that boulevard leading into this massive project. And then Ford, being forward thinking, saying that they're already thinking about putting up a massive advertisement on the top of Ford Plant 1. Think about any time there would be a game day, you'd have perhaps the Goodyear blimp in and around the dome area, and there would be a massive Ford logo right there, free advertisement for them. So as you heard the Brook Park mayor say, Ford is excited about the idea of a new neighbor being the Cleveland Browns, so it moves forward. Big meeting tomorrow between the city of Brook Park and the Browns. What do they need as far as zoning? Of course, I can even probably answer that. If they're looking at that mixed-use facility, it would need to be zoned from manufacturing to retail, residential, commercial property type zoning changes, and then a discussion about revenue and funds and how this whole thing would play out. Are they going to give us any of that information? Probably not. But the fact that it is talking, the fact that they are making plans, that they are looking at really the dollar and cents of how much is this project going to cost, how much in bonds, and then how much revenue are you going to be bringing in, do you think? And think about that. Are they bringing it in from rent, from property, from businesses operating, from not just the Browns games, but everything else included in that area? What is the goal and the numbers, and do they match up? So again, this is just part of our commitment to watching this project grow, evolve, because we know the time is ticking. The Browns have committed to playing through the end of the lease in downtown Cleveland through 2028. But if they're out, like they are indicating at the end of 2028, they better have someplace to go, which means you need all the time in the world to be able to build a world-class facility, a brand new dome. And 2.5 years seems to be about what that might take, 2.5 to 3 years. So something needs to get done very soon in order for that to happen, for shovels to go in the ground and to make this a reality in time for the 2029-2030 season in the NFL for the Browns. So this keeps rolling along, and we're going to keep tracking it every step of the way. Remember, today is a first alert weather day. We could have severe weather a little bit later today as a cold front moves through. We're enjoying the beautiful temperatures, and when that cold front collides with it, that makes the recipe for bad weather. So make sure you tune in to our 3.5 hours of news and first alert weather starting at 3 o'clock on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.